I always like to see new releases for the starter gun market. The better the gun a new player can afford, the better their first experience will be and the more likely they'll stick with the sport and ultimately grow this industry. Latest from G&G is the new CMF16 and the CMF16K. G&G was kind enough to send us these two pre-release models for us to take a look at, but hopefully you'll be able to get your hands on one of these in the very near future. Both of these models feature polymer receivers as well as polymer rails, no doubt to save a little bit on cost, but it also has the added benefit of making these guns both very lightweight, which is great for the newer players, with the shorter CMF16K coming in at 2.3 kilograms and the full-length CMF16 coming in at 1 gram more. For way of reference, a standard CM16 Raider comes in at about 2 kilograms, with most full metal AR builds roughly about 3 kilograms. The balance of the gun is centered mainly around the mech box area, making the front of this gun really easy to point and definitely a gun that you could comfortably run all day long. It still has a full metal barrel and full metal buffer tube, and I've always respected G&G's choice of polymer as seen on their SR series of AEGs. And despite being a lighter weight gun, don't get me wrong, it still feels pretty good in the hands, and I especially like the fact that the rail slots into that upper receiver for a bit of added strength. It features a raised upper rail for that distinctive 416 look, but unfortunately it doesn't have that flat magwell as seen on most 416s, though that is a minor nitpick as I know this isn't a direct copy or replica of a 416. Another draw to the CMF lineup is full ambidextrous metal controls right out of the box, which is definitely a consideration for the lefties out there, and even if you're not, it's really nice to be able to transition to your offhand and still be able to access all those controls. Selector switch is smooth and notchy as we've come to expect from G&G, and unlike some other ambi switches we've seen, feels just as good to use on either side. Magazine release is a simple lever ambi design and also works well with both hands. Even the bolt release has a pretty cool switch for your index finger, which you don't see very often. However, the placement is a little bit funny as the spring-loaded dust cover can actually drop your bolt, but under normal use like adjusting hop-up, it works just fine. Speaking of the hop-up, it's a rotary design with nice notchy clicks, which is quickly becoming the norm for AR-style AEGs. The pistol grip is a 416 style grip and is quite tall, so it's great for larger hands. I like the enlarged trigger guard, which makes it easy to shoot even with gloves on. On the standard CMF, you get a 10.5-inch M-LOK rail with QD sling mounts on either side. At the front is a standard birdcage flash hider mounted on a standard 14mm counterclockwise thread with a standard crane stock at the back. The shorter K model features a 9-inch rail that's similar in design but has more angular cutouts and goes with a screw-in panel design rather than M-LOK. Personally, I do prefer an M-LOK design as it allows for a more flush fitment with M-LOK accessories rather than forcing you to use a rail panel. The K features a tri-prong flash hider at the front and a PDW style stock at the back. It's the same stock seen on the ARP series and has adequate room for a standard LiPo. Another big selling point to the CMF series is the inclusion of their latest 4th gen MOSFET unit as well as their ETU microswitch trigger. The MOSFET allows you to run more powerful 11-1 LiPos safely without burning any contacts, and that microswitch trigger allows you a very competitive semi-auto rate of fire. Definitely a plus for any AEG. Here it is with a standard 11-1 LiPo. Take-up is extremely smooth like G&G's other ETUs. Brake is very light and feels similar to a mouse click. There is no over travel, which is always a good thing, and reset is literally releasing that mouse click. So once you get used to the short travel, you can pull off a very decent rate of semi-auto. Like other G&G ETUs, this one features a 3-round burst mode instead of full auto, activated by holding down semi-auto for 10 seconds, and it will beep when it's engaged. Overall, a very snappy trigger that definitely won't let you down for a first AEG. If you are looking for that first AEG, or perhaps you're looking to upgrade to a MOSFET equipped gun right out of the box, and you love that 416 look, I definitely think the CMF16 is worth a consideration. It's always preferable to have a MOSFET unit right out of the gate, and I do think this is the perfect size and weight for a newer player getting the hang of the game, whether or not you plan to play indoor or outdoor. My only complaint is the lack of a quick change spring, so bear in mind you might need to leave it with your local shop so they can drop your velocity to your field limits before you hit the field. Big shout out to G&G for sending us these pre-release models for us to take a look at, and hopefully these will be available for you to purchase very soon. As always, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoy our content, why don't you go ahead and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.